What's the worst piece of financial advice somebody has given you? Once you cut up the credit card, you don't have to pay it. Apostrophe. My cousin is not doing so hot. I'm pretty sure there are warrants out for his arrest in several states. I work for a bank. The amount of times I get customers tell me I just got a phone call saying I owe, but I cancelled my card. Exclamation mark. I tell them we never received a notice that they cancelled it, and they'd say, but I cut it up. Dude, if cutting bills up would solve anything, life would be great. Don't take a raise if it puts you into the next tax bracket, and pay the minimum on your credit card to establish good credit. People at my work make it sound like working overtime makes your paycheck smaller than it would be without. Not a single time has this actually happened. There's a guy at my old hourly job who did this, but he did it so that he could discourage anyone else to pick up extra and he'd try to get all the ot. We knew what he was trying, lol. He threw a fit if anyone ever got ot, and he didn't that week. Has over 50 and everyone else in their 20s. One of my uncles once told me that I never really had to pay my phone bill. He suggested that I simply jump to another carrier and let the first company cut you off. His life has turned out exactly as you'd imagine. What happened? Don't know. He stopped calling. Just get another credit card. My friend who hasn't worked in 3 years and is currently just vibing with his new credit cards he somehow got approved. 4. A friend's family taught them to take out as many store cards and credit cards as they could, and as long as the minimum was paid, they'd be able to live a luxurious lifestyle. They were almost $100k in debt when they finally told me, from dozens of cards and interest, then did not want to discuss it further after I offered advice, lawyer, counseling. It's simply how their parents lived. Life on credit far beyond means. I could not live with that stress. It's so normal for some people though. Ugh. This comment makes me break out in hives. I would never be able to sleep with that kind of stress. Spend it quickly or it'll get stolen. Coming from someone with a history of losing and blowing their money, or not even stolen. Folks who've never had enough to get by comfortably have a little imp on their shoulder telling them to spend it now, or it'll just go to next month's rent, and you won't get to enjoy anything nice with this cash. When I got to university and opened a student current account, I received an interest-free overdraft of about $1,200. I wasn't entirely sure of what that meant. My brother informed me so that's like your new zero, and encouraged me to use it to buy a new gaming PC. For the next few years I really wish I hadn't taken that advice. He's never been too amazing with his money, so I should have seen that one coming. Unfortunately we have to learn the hard way sometimes. I maximumed out a credit card once because I was like, damn, this is like never ending free money. Boy did I feel dumb as duck when my card was declined in a McGill Jr. drive-thru. Can you explain the psychology behind this? I know it's really common, but I never understood it. Weren't you nervous about interest? Did you know they charge interest on credit card debt? That an emergency fund wasn't necessary when you can always get a payday loan or use your credit card. He wasn't joking. My cousin's car broke down and he didn't have enough savings to get it fixed. He took out a $600 payday loan. He's still paying it off. Almost 2 years later. How this shit is still legal baffles the duck out of me. $1,000 on a credit card at 19. 99% will take 26 years to pay off if you only pay the minimum payment. My fill when I mention our retirement plan, I never contribute to my retirement account. Money now is always better than money later. I needed to have a conversation with my husband how we would not be supporting his mom and dad in their insane spending when they have no retirement plan and make huge financial mistakes on a weekly basis. Good news is they both make good money. These beanie babies are an investment in our future. 1997, I'm sitting in the office of my college job. An office mate's husband is visiting. He makes a phone call and starts negotiating over a price like he's selling Manhattan real estate. Turns out he's negotiating the sale of a beanie baby with a 12-year-old. After a few minutes his wife rolls her eyes and yells, "Let the little girl have the toy!" Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Hey. Haggling is an essential skill. He was just helping the kid out. This wasn't really their fault, because none of us, least of all 20-year-old me lol, could have predicted the fallout from the recession. I was in college when it hit. About halfway through a bachelor's degree. Were not rich, and I was paying for it with loans on a semester by semester basis. Friday, you could get a loan. Then suddenly by Monday you couldn't. Anywhere. Friends were dropping out left and right, unable to come up with the money for the next semester. That's when my parents gave me the worst financial advice I'll probably ever get. Take on a $25,000 private student loan with a variable interest rate of 11%. The logic was, we'd refinance it right after college. Simple as that. We didn't predict. IDK if they should have known. It's whatever. That private student loans would be insatiable. No one would refinance it, and I was trapped with this absurdly high interest loan. Every year I'd try once, maybe twice, and I was always rejected for having too bad a debt to income ratio. The payments, plus the payments of my other loans, were too high to make anything but the minimums, which went straight to interest. It was like it hung myself, but misjudged the length of the rope, and could just barely skate my toes on the ground and keep me alive. Barely. It took years to get out from under it. In the end, some 8 years later, we made the final payment. On a $27,000 loan I paid an additional $23,000 in interest at a 13% rate. 1976 San Francisco. Keep renting. No one will ever pay $35,000 for a 2-bedroom house and garage with a sweeping view of the East Bay. Added later, I went back to visit the old neighborhood a few years ago. Those $35,000 stucco homes up many flights of steps perched on the top of Potrero Hill were now all gentrified, remodeled, gated, and asking $1M plus, and that was 5 years ago. And now you live on Maui. Yes, moved to Maui in mid-1976 and kept renting. In those days it was sweet, friendly, uncrowded and not too expensive. My rent was $700 MO for 3-brit/2-bay house and garage with a fenced yard in a nice neighborhood. It wasn't until 2000 I could finally afford to buy a house here, in the days when they gave loans with no stated income to self-employed people. And that was only after I'd gotten a real estate license. I was one of the few to survive the Great Recession and come out the other end with my credit intact. Today on Maui the median price for a single family home is $825,000. For $500,000 and below there are a few really decayed shacks. The sweet spot is $2 to $4 million range. About once a month a home sells in one of the resort areas for over $10 million. The buyers are the mega rich who are mostly only going to live here to vacation, and it does not make the local population feel warm and fuzzy. Hold on to those French francs. They will be worth a lot someday. I'm not holding my breath. Well, they probably will be eventually. In about 1000 years they may sell for something good at auction if well preserved. You'll be quids in. Don't invest in a 401k. Luckily, I didn't listen. Put it all on black. Join my MLM and make lots money. No. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you enjoyed watching this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below.